So we ran into some car trouble. We have cylinder 1 is misfiring, and it's giving us a really rough idle and kind of slower speeds. So we went to the mechanic this morning, and he couldn't help us, but he sent us over here to Jiffy Lube. They do some minor repair work as well. So we're going to get the oil changed, and we're going to get the engine flushed, and we're going to get the spark plugs changed, and hopefully that will be enough to at least get us back home. We'll see. Well, there she is. Poor sad girl. Where do I even begin? It's been about 8 weeks since Matthew and I went to South Dakota, and a lot of things have happened since then. Let's see. After we left the mechanic's shop in Billings, it was still causing problems. We were still getting a misfire. But we had 2 mechanics that told us that it should be okay. And it should have been okay, honestly. As long as we get it looked at when we get back to Medicine Hat. So we headed out, and we started the drive back. We only had a certain amount of time to get back because we had to cross the border before the border crossing closed. But we didn't want to rush it either, knowing that the car was giving us problems. We had gotten about an hour outside of Billings, by the town of Roundup, and we were stuck behind a fuel vehicle that couldn't regulate its speed very well. This entire time, ever since the car started acting up on us, I had prevented the turbo from kicking in. I was very careful with the shifting, but I had to get around this fuel truck, so I sped up, and the last thing I remember is the turbo kicked in. There was a big puff of blue smoke behind us, and we lost all power. So we pulled over to the side of the road. Here she is, broke down the road. Now we wait for a tow truck. We had the car towed back to Roundup, where a gentleman had looked at it and said that it was beyond him to fix. So he called up his cousin in Billings, and we had the car towed back to Billings. Now, we were hoping for the best, but to be honest, we were expecting the worst. And the mechanic in Billings had confirmed my worst fear, and that was that we had blown the engine. There was fuel in the oil pan, there was fuel on top of the cylinders, and there was no compression in any of the cylinders. There goes our ride. Now, doing the math, the value of my Kia was about $8,000. To replace the engine would have cost about $4,000 plus labor to install it and the tow, and that would have been in US dollars. We could have towed it home and had it fixed at home, but it would have cost about $4,000 plus the cost of labor plus the tow home, and it just didn't make sense spending that kind of money. We're one step closer to being home. I said goodbye to the car today. Got someone to come and get it, which you wouldn't think that would be as difficult as it was, but it was very difficult. And we booked a flight home tomorrow. We'll see how that goes, hopefully smooth. Always an adventure. So we made the tough decision to sell the car for scrap. And it was a tough decision. You wouldn't think that it would be that difficult, but because the car was registered in Canada, nobody in the United States wanted to touch it. But I did manage to get a hold of a scrapyard that would take it and give us next to nothing. But at least it was something. And Matthew and I booked a flight home. Hey, we're on the first step.
First step of going home.
Going home. Yeah, we made it.
There's a plane right there.
Yeah, there is. We made it through security. Check-in was a challenge, but we got it.
Yeah. It wasn't our fault.
Thanks to Linda. No, it was okay.
Thanks to Linda.
So hopefully everything goes smooth from here, but I'll keep you posted.
Right.
As a sign of good faith, the airline has bought lunch from Taco Bell.
It's delicious.
It's probably at least $20 worth of burritos.
They're tiny.
Definitely a different experience than a building. Yeah.
A train is arriving.
Hey, train.
Here comes the train. Gotta get on it.
Passengers exiting the train.
Hey, what kind of sandwich did you get?
Take a random guess.
Is it a clubhouse with no tomato? Is there any other kind?
I don't know, you tell me.